Have you ever had a great potential client? I mean, you can tell this is going to be a great project, they're a great fit, and then the moment they hear about your pricing, they get cold feet and it's going nowhere fast. That has happened to me. It's happened to a few of my clients. It probably happens to all of us unless you have rock bottom prices, but especially if you are a premium brand, if you offer high end services. You find the perfect match, an ideal client. And then when you start discussing the investment, they start backpedaling. Most often that happens not because they don't have the money for it. It's because we haven't done our jobs of showing such incredible value in what they're getting that then the investment seems like they're getting an actual deal for all that you are giving them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. 5 powerful strategies that will elevate your brand and attract clients who are excited to pay your rates, even if they are a premium.
Welcome to the Higher Purpose Marketing Strategy Podcast. If you're frustrated by marketing and want to stand out from your competition, this is the show for you. Every week, we're discussing how to build a plan that attracts your best customers and aligns with your values. I'm your host, Ashley Conway, follower of Jesus, CEO of Be Weird Marketing, marketing coach, and copywriter. I promise to defeat the ick, yuck, and struggle bus feelings you may have about marketing with a few good stories and proven advice. So let's have fun and get to work.
So let's talk about strategy 1. Shift from selling to focusing on your brand. So instead of selling so hard in whatever it is, whether it's your social media, your email, your homepage, let's say, instead of focusing so much on sell, you're going to start signaling quality, a trustworthiness, this kind of exclusivity or rarity that you may have a ton of competitors, but no one is doing the job like you. No one is doing this service, this experience as you are, because you are such a singular company in your industry that it elevates you, right? Do you already hear that? To the next level. So your messaging, your visuals, your tone, your offers need to communicate this premium level and that you are worth it from the very start. So here are some examples, just ways to shift your brand and your thinking about your brand that is going to make the right adjustments for you. So let's start talking about, instead of selling, let's talk about transformation. So, befores and afters, things like that will help. Let's choose visuals that align with luxury, right? You want, if someone sees your social, if they see your website immediately, first few seconds, we want them to know, wow, this is a lot classier than all the other ones that I have seen. This is a totally different company here. You want them to know before you tell them that you have a premium company. You offer a premium service. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you want to put out offers and calls to action that are maybe fewer, because we don't want to be hard sellers. We don't want to be car salesmen. But you're still going to put them out. You're just going to make them more targeted. You're going to drive people hard to one main offer and one main way to contact you, whatever your preference is. If it's a phone call or some kind of form on your website, whatever that is, that's going to be the primary way to get with you. When you look at yourself as this premium brand, then you start to look at the way you run your business differently. It's not so easy for someone to get a one-on-one with the founder of the brand. They are going to have to go through a process, other people, some kind of filtering to get to you. So on this first part, it's more of a mindset shift of, I don't have to sell myself so hard anymore because I'm operating at a different level, an elevated level. What I'm offering is premium. I don't have to compete with the people below me who are all about here's the best deal. We can get you in so fast, cheap, and easy. You don't play that game anymore. You are operating completely outside of that. So it is a mindset shift to start thinking about every single thing you do as we are a premium company offering a premium service. So I think one of the easiest ways to actually start putting into practice is to think of another premium brand that you really love or admire. So something like, Tiffany jewelry or a Porsche or a Ritz-Carlton hotel. And you start thinking of yourself like that. Like if I were a Tiffany, what would my social post talk about? If I were a Ritz-Carlton, what would my website look like? If I were a Porsche, what would people have to go through to talk to, the main designer of, or whatever, the C-suite of Porsche? What would that look like? From the very beginning, that is the easiest way to think of yourself as a premium brand. If you're not there yet, maybe you are. But if that's something that you don't think of yourself as, like I am the CEO of a high-end firm, company, however you look at it, it's, making that switch in your thinking, and that will help get you there. So that's the first. Focus way less on selling and way more on just creating this brand that is so high end, so luxury, that you attract the people who want to see themselves as luxury, high end customers. Number 2 is to create that premium experience from the first touch. And I talked about this a little bit a minute ago. So you're going to walk through your client journey from the very first time they hear of your company, which could be social, and there's a lot of different ways, ads, a ton of things. The first time they ever hear you exist, all the way through their journey to after you're done with their project completely, and it's like a post-project follow-up with them. You're going to walk through every step of that. And you're going to think about every time that you have a touch point with a customer, every interaction. How can you make that a high-end experience? How can your website be high-end? How can your social, both the visual and the content, be high-end? How about your DMs with people engage with you? What about your onboarding process and your offboarding process? All of that should reflect high-end experience, because you add all those things together, you have a luxury experience. So let's think about, just take these one step at a time. Make a list of the different touch points, but then take them one step at a time. Like, how about your intake form? You don't want to work with just anybody, right? You don't want to work with the people who are looking for a Walmart service of your industry. You don't want to be a Walmart level interior designer or a landscape architect or a photographer, whatever it is. You're past that. Remember, you're not competing on price. So let's look at, they can't obviously immediately get in touch with you. One of the ways that you might be able to start filtering out the people who are Walmart buyers from your ideal client is to create some kind of a form on your site that they fill out, that then goes into your process of whoever contacting them and getting more details, that type of thing. So let's say that a high-end form, you're going to get the normal name, email address, that kind of situation. And you're going to get a few specifics about whatever project they're wanting you to do, just very high level. So you kind of have an idea of what they want. But a high end is going to maybe say, like, what is your budget for this? And give them ranges. And the first one's not going to be $0 to $200, right? So you're going to already set the expectation that if you're not coming with a serious budget, then I'm probably not your person. You do need to go find the Walmart of this industry. You're going to ask pointed questions about, like, does this budget, did you consider these things when you came up with that budget, and already set the expertise that this is things that are included in our fee. So you're already communicating to them that what your budget is, that you're a little higher end, you're not going to be a Walmart company, and you're educating them without doing it outright that our fees include these extra things Those need to be a part of your budget, and know that that's what we provide. So you're giving them a little sneak peek into your process. And that may be something that you want to do a couple lines about on this form or on your site, that this is what the process looks like of working with us. Because the more value they see in your process, the more personalization, customization, it just elevates you to a new level. So you can use something as simple as a form to do that.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I want to tell you something cool my mom made. It's called Marketing 360. It's a full review of your business, customer journey, and marketing stuff like your website, emails, and social media. She finds what's not working and gives you a plan to fix it so you can get more of the right clients. If you want to know when it launches, text Be Weird to 55444. That's BEWEIRD to 55444. You're gonna love it. I know, because my mom is really smart.
Okay, strategy number 3, you're going to address the price objection way before it comes up. We all know, even if someone has the money to invest in your services, that's the place that they're going to at least flinch. Because most people who have, a high income are doing so because they're not putting huge investments into every single thing that they do, right? Where do they get their groceries? Like, where do they do the little things? They may be trying to get a deal somehow. And especially if you have somebody who is in that type of profession, in sales and entrepreneurship, they want to get something great, but not have to pay a great price. So there's always going to be that flinch moment. But we are going to be preparing them for that long before they see whatever the investment is. So a luxury buyer, when they are coming to a luxury company, they're not just buying the service that you provide them. They're buying an experience. They are buying a level of expertise. They are buying an exclusivity that they can't get somewhere else. So you're going to use messaging that speaks to results. If you can use data, that's always good, but you don't have to. So it speaks to the results that they are going to get. And don't be afraid to use this is the number one luxury photographer in this area, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to use that type of language. You're going to show transformations. So sometimes it's, you show what you've produced for them. So let's say you're a photographer, you show the end result, but you're also showing, maybe that's the backdrop, but then you're showing what went into this. And my client didn't have to do anything but show up. We took care of hair and makeup and made suggestions for XYZ, editing, all the things that go into that final photo. You have to tell people, because they just assume it comes out perfectly that way, and they have no idea what goes into the steps leading up to that. And you're also going to focus on peace of mind, that it is so easy, so convenient. So little work was required for your clients that you work with to get this service from you. Because honestly, that's what a lot of people that are buying from luxury brands are buying. They are buying convenience, that there's a large portion of things they don't have to do in order to still get the outstanding, incredible result that they want. They want it without a bunch of work on their part. Okay, so you are going to use messaging that reinforces high value. So things like tailored service, personalized details, white glove. There are a lot of phrases that you can use that communicate that this is not your service in a box kind of thing. One size fits all. I'm just doing the same thing across the board. There's a lot of things that you can do to outright say that. So include those types of things in your messaging across the board, from website to social to email, no matter what it is. Clearly communicate every single time. You are high-end, white glove luxury. And another thing that you can consider is disclosing your price in a very subtle way, Like on that form example I just talked about, like asking for the budget and starting out not at a low ball number, but at a like what is the least amount that you would do a project for? That's going to be the starting. The other ranges are going to go up from there. And you can tell customers, you can put this on your site, that your services start at, how many ever figures that is, so they know that they are prepared, right? Because if they seriously can't afford, there's somebody who is not your ideal client at all, they can't afford, nor are they ready for your level of service, they should go somewhere else. It is a waste of their time and their energy and yours for them to come to you. They do need to go somewhere else that will help filter without you explicitly having to say, this is how much it's going to cost. You don't want to put yourself in that bucket because it's not a one size fits all, because every project is different. But you can say starting at. You could also communicate that a deposit is required before the project starts. So deposit of X amount. And that tells them right there, like, if the deposit is way out of my price range, this person isn't for me, because you don't want those people. You don't want Walmart buyers. It is just a waste of your time and a distraction from the people who you do want to work with. So that was number 3. Let's go to number 4. So you're going to leverage your authority as an expert, because you are, as a pro, and you're going to leverage social proof. So let's talk about that. Luxury buyers look for reassurance from other people at their level. Keep that in mind. It has to be at their level. So you use client work quotes, and don't just use, I loved my space. I loved my end result. I love my photos, whatever it is. Try to direct their testimonials. And you can go back to episode 27 of the podcast, where I talk a lot more solely about testimonials, but you want to try to direct the output they give you, the quote they give you, by giving them questions to answer. So you want to get at a quote that is about the process of working with you, the extras they weren't expecting, the personal touches, the things that you did for that person that show you are white glove. You are not cookie cutter. That's what you want to try to get from these quotes. So you have to ask them questions like that in order to get those back. You can do before and afters. I would also, with that, add in those things in the copy. If you're promoting a before and after, like, yes, here's the before and the finished look, and that's great, but here are some of the special touches that you're probably not seeing just by looking at this final thing. You also want to do visible results if you can. If there is a way to attach some kind of data point, some kind of research that you can, throw in there. I mean, maybe it's, if you're in a home services space, then maybe it's this thing that I did is going to increase their home resale value by this many thousands of dollars, kind of thing. So there are ways you can pull it in, even if you feel like that's not really, because you're in a creative space that you feel like data doesn't really match you. Or let's say you're an organizer and it's like, having this organized space saved these clients, these homeowners, 20 hours a week. Whatever it is, there are ways that you can use numbers to show more hard data results. And also, if you are working with a client that's well known in your area or well known in an industry, get their permission on the front end to be able to use their name. I mean, it would be great to be able to use a headshot of theirs with it, but at least their name. Take advantage of these if they are willing to do it. And you can always toss out, like, I want to pitch for this project of yours, of your beautiful whatever. I want to pitch that to a magazine, to an industry publication, to, any kind of well-known thing. Like, express to them, I want this extra exposure for you. And that's one way that you might be able to get their permission to use their name and or a photo. So the whole thing here with the step 4, creating, leveraging social proof and your position as an expert, a pro, top notch in what you do, is you're building this body of evidence of excellence. So all these different all these different pieces of evidence. Let's think about it like we are attorneys and we're putting all of these pieces together. They may be small, they may be little things, but we're going to put it together in a case file of excellence. This is how I operate. This is how my brand is excellent. This is how our process is excellent. This is how our onboarding, all of these things. You're just collecting more and more pieces of evidence that you operate at the very highest level. You are excellent. It's not okay to just be good or fair. You are excellent. And that's what that's all about. And then the last strategy, make it easy for them to say yes. So you're going to review your inquiry process, people who are getting in touch with you. Is it fast? Is it friendly, like easy for them to do? Is it on brand? So it needs to also reflect that you are a higher level. Like I said, like people should not be able to directly contact you first thing by just submitting a contact form on your website. That should not go to your inbox. That should go to someone else. So you're also going to offer, let's say, frictionless next steps. So you want to get them from that inquiry to the next step. So give them a calendar link to book time with someone on your team. Give them prep questions that they need to think about before they get on that initial call with you. Offer flexible payments. We know that they have the money, but it still may be convenient for them to break up payments for something in a specific timeline, let's say. So be flexible about that and work with, if possible, if it's reasonable, work within what works for their money management. And then you're going to fine tune your sales pitch. So, and I say this not because I'm a sales expert, because I know as a premium brand, you want to expect the sale. You want to know, obviously, I've already created enough value, shown you all the reasons that this, there's so much more value here than the investment that we are asking for. So you're going to expect, after you give them that presentation with the investment, like, let's go ahead and book something, give them a start date. So this is the vision of what it's going to be. This is my next availability. Let's not make it next week. In most cases, right? You want to show them through that scheduling that you are in high demand. So this is my next availability. I can do this or this date. What works best for you? Like, they will try, because we're all made that way, to try to push back, I need time, I need to think about this. But you want to, while they're in it, while they're interested, while they have just heard all this stuff from you and they're excited, that's the point that you want to try to get some kind of commitment from them. Obviously, we're not going to strong arm anyone. We're ethical people. So we're not going to beat someone up and force them into something they don't want to do. But if you can sense, if you know that it is something they want to do, make it happen for them. Help them remove the obstacles. Time is going to be an obstacle. Time to wait. Payment may be an obstacle. Whatever it is, help remove those and get them to commit at least to signing up for a date, right? For something to begin, or a deposit, whatever that looks like. You want to get that small form of commitment right there when you present, here's the investment. So let's recap those 5 strategies. Number 1 was to shift from hard selling to building your brand. Number 2 was to create a premium experience from the very first exposure to you. 3 is to address the price objection before it ever comes up. 4 is to leverage your authority as a pro and to leverage social proof. 5 is to make it easy for them to say yes, to commit. So speaking of committing, I have something else that's exciting that's coming up. I am going to be doing an initial launch, a beta launch of a new program that I wanted to tell you about. It is called Marketing 360. So this is what it includes. It's something I've been working on the past couple of months. It is a comprehensive review of your customer journey from first touch to post-sale, your messaging, your funnel, all of your channels. So like your website, your email, your social, everything that you're doing. And I am going to show you what's working, what's not, and what needs to change in order for you to attract more of your best clients. So this is designed specifically for creative business owners who are tired of this DIY marketing thing they've been trying to do with mediocre results. And the upside is, since this is a beta launch for me, it's going to be offered at the lowest price it ever will be, so that I can test this and refine any tweaks, fine tune things, and to make sure I'm offering the best and, the most incredible experience when I fully launch it. So the upside is there's very little commitment now. If you just want to be the first to be notified when this launches at this special one-time price, just text the word "Be Weird" all together to 55444, and I'll send you some more information. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great week.
Thanks for listening to today's show. For all things podcast, including transcripts, extra resources, and a place to submit questions for the show, visit higherpurposemarketingstrategy.com. I'd also love for you to do me 2 quick favors. 1, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and 2, share this episode with your colleagues. And that's a wrap. Meet you back here next week.